It's Wednesdays. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Wednesdays with Woody, where we interrupt your regular Wednesday to bring you, to bring you this hot ass mess of a show. You're welcome. And if you haven't guessed it, yes, I'm your boy, Woody Woods. And, this week we're just doing a little bit of a catch-up. It's been a minute. It's been more than a minute. I'm right, it's been months. Now, before I get lost in this week, don't forget to like us, give us a comment, follow us on social media, just reach out to us, tell us what you want to hear, tell me what's trending and topical in your life that you want me to discuss, whatever it is. I enjoy putting up these podcasts and I really want to carry on doing that, even if it's just for me and just for the fun of it. So you know what to do. Like, comment, share. Do the right thing. Let's get into it. Now, at the end of last year, I know I was saying, I just want to tighten everything up and keep it nice and short and brief. And I'm hoping I get to do that with this podcast, with today's session. I don't know how this is going to work out, but here we go. We're just going to get right into it. I have decided to forgo season 2. I think with the madness of the end of the year happening, getting married, and my whole universe took on a life of its own, and I had no choice but to buckle up and do nothing but enjoy the ride. It was wild towards the end of last year. So I think that this episode we're just gonna catch up on what's been happening, how life has been, how was the wedding, and all that good stuff. So here we go. So to those who don't know, who are first-time listeners, late last year on the 20th of December, myself and my partner, Ryan, got married. And wow, what a roller coaster of emotions. What a roller coaster of emotion. What a roller coaster of an experience, We'd been planning our wedding for the last 2 years, and I was getting a little bit apprehensive, especially towards the end, because I was we are way too chilled. We are way too chilled leading up to this wedding. I think even some of my friends and my family were even questioning us and asking us, do you guys need any help? But we were very relaxed up until the very end, when Ryan, I think, he just started having multiple meltdowns, multiple meltdowns. It was quite interesting to see. I know that somewhere I read a quote that said that, you're going to learn things about your partner during the lead up to your wedding. And I really felt like I did learn a lot of things about my partner, specifically on how we handle stress, and how we move forward in life. I, surprisingly, am the more sober-minded, more chilled one. I was expecting to be the one who was unraveling and just all over the place, but I was very chilled. Ryan, on the other hand, he just he fell to bits and pieces. It was quite hilarious. Not in an evil way, but it was, looking back, it was quite hilarious to watch that. He really unraveled, and even though I tried to reach out and give him support on the many DIY projects that he had his fingers in, which I told him, do not do all of this. We don't have capacity for all of this. Even a month before, I said to him, you need to wrap up on these DUIs, because your family's flying in, and the minute they get here, we won't have time to do any of this. Did he listen to me? No. Which is generally the behavior of Ryan. He likes to go do things by himself and then come back and ask me for all the help in the world, and that just really irritates me. But you love someone, so you really can't fault them for their own flaws. You can just be their ride or die, and just enjoy the journey with them. And that's primarily what we did, I think. The wedding day was beautiful. Ryan had, I think, about 3 meltdowns, though. just before the wedding. I think I even had to tell my mother to have a little bit of a conversation with him. The venue, the woman who manages the venue that we were at, she even pulled me inside and was like, "You have to get him to calm down." And I just looked at her and I was like, "Girl, I cannot calm this person down. Like, he has decided to be like this. This is how he has decided to be." But he did manage to just calm down and come to his senses, which made the experience so much more beautiful, I think. Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding. I mean, I wore what was it? I would say green, but it was very like light green. It was a light green suit. Ryan wore a pink suit. Our guests were all dressed in black. Ryan is always saying like, "Oh, we're trying to do things that are on trend," and I'm always deviating from all of that, and I'm like, I don't want to do things that are on trend. I just want to do things that are that have our signature and have our look and feel in everything. And that's primarily that's how I think our wedding felt, at least to me. I can't remember much of it towards the end because your boy got turned and wild, but it was such a beautiful occasion and a beautiful affair. I really, really did love it. I think, looking back at the whole thing, like, there are a couple of things that have stood out to me post the wedding and not necessarily on the wedding day, because your wedding day is your wedding day. You're going to love it and people are going to tell you, "Oh, it was great, it was great, it was great," but how did it make you feel? Which to me is always more important than anything else. And how I felt on the day was actually just beautiful, and I felt at peace and I felt a whole lot of love. But after the wedding, one of our friends said, "Oh my gosh," we're doing like a video call with them, and they were like, "It was so beautiful to see such an interracial relationship in a South African context, an interracial relationship get married, let alone that you guys are black and white, but added to that is that you guys are gay, and to have seen you guys have weathered the many years that you guys have been together, it's been such an inspiration." Well, it was an inspiration to him, I suppose. And that really got me thinking, because me and Ryan are like, well, maybe not me and Ryan, maybe me. I'm super private. Like, I'm super private about our relationship. Like, you can ask me questions and I'll tell you, but I'm not one person to want to splash or put everything out there into the universe, and I'm just a little bit more withdrawn. And that doesn't speak to the importance or the value of my relationship. It's just me as a character. Like, that's who I be. So I think that was really such an interesting take, because me and Ryan have been together for like 10 years now, and leading up to our wedding day, there are certain things which I didn't take into consideration. Like, I live in my own bubble, I live in my own world, and I love it here. It's a beautiful place. It's peaceful, it's surreal. It's beautiful. But when you come into the contact with the outside world and you realize actually you're in an interracial relationship, and I know I've spoken previously on the podcast, I think one of the episodes in season 2 about this specifically, being an interracial relationship in a South African context, but to be reminded that actually your love or your relationship is a beacon of hope for many others, that was really beautiful to me to be reminded of. And it also speaks to some of my core beliefs of continue being authentically yourself, continue holding your banner really, really high, no matter what the world thinks, no matter how they view you, no matter what they say. It's just really important to just be who you are in this world, because I think we're seeing a lot of that fade, a lot of that disappear, and it's being overridden by a whole lot of nonsense. But yeah, so that was such a beautiful reminder. I know that another thing that stood out to me, besides the many other beautiful speeches that I heard from our family and friends, was something that my dad said. I'm normally keeping on trend with things, but during our wedding ceremony, he said something along the lines of, the day before our wedding day, the Pope had just, I think he'd almost like given his blessing for gay marriages, and that was beautiful for me to have heard from my father. And it reminded me once again of how blessed I am to have the family that I have, to be born into the family that I'm born into, and to have the parents that I have, and to also just be surrounded by the people that we are surrounded by. You know, there's so much hate in the world, and I know that it sometimes doesn't look like that. Sometimes, like, you're in your own bucket or you're in your own world, and you're just surrounding yourself with your own beauty or the things that feed your soul, that you forget that outside it can be very harsh and it can be very cold, to people who identify as being part of the LGBTQ plus community, or just people who are different, who don't belong necessarily to a vast or big grouping. And it was so, I don't know, looking back, like, I'm getting a little bit teary right now. Looking back, that was so beautiful for him to have brought that to the attention of the room and the attendees there, that we were doing something that many years ago might have been seen as being like, I don't know, hell no gay people can get married, and to have had the right and the privilege and the, I want to say responsibility, but I don't know if that's the right word, but to just be able to celebrate our love was beautiful. And I think more than anything, that's going to live with me forever. And I'm so grateful and I'm so appreciative to everyone who attended our groom's party. Like, they were the bomb. Yeah, it was beautiful. And that was on the 20th of December, so I'm still riding in the high, I think. Another question that I get asked a lot since getting married is, how is it now? How does it feel? Is it the same? And to be honest with you, it feels really, really different. You know, when you're dating someone, you can walk out the door. They can walk out the door. And I'm not saying that in a marriage, no one can walk out the door. Anyone can walk out any door anytime they want to. But now that we are married, I don't know. That voice in the back of my head that was always like talking specifically around my relationship, that's really just disappeared. I know now that I married my best friend. I married the love of my life. I married the person who I want to journey this life with, and I'm really, really grateful about that. But yeah, by the way, that whole trope of like marrying your best friend, whatever, like, no, I don't necessarily subscribe to that. But I think it is really important to marry someone who is your friend, someone who you can journey through life with. And I'm really, really grateful that I did that and I have that. A lot of people really don't have that. They've got like other things going on, and I'm not here to judge you or offer my opinion on your life. Like, you do you, boo. Like, live your life, live your truth, live what is ideal for you. Not all of our stories are exactly the same, and they really shouldn't be. It's what makes life so interesting. And one of my favorite sayings is that you need to own your narrative, own your story. It's yours. No one else has got your story exactly penned out or written out or lived as you have, and that's really important. So yeah, a lot has happened since we got married on the 20th of December. Beautiful things, and I'm just focusing on the beautiful things because, yeah, it's wild out there. It is wild. I mean, Kate Middleton, like, that whole saga, Kim Kardashian and her whole saga, like, there's just a lot going on in the world. I've also got two really interesting albums. I recently listened to the Jennifer Lopez album, which I found very interesting. And I also watched the documentary, which was also equally as interesting. Not the movie, the documentary about the movie, which was equally as interesting, to see the behind the scenes. And obviously, like, when I think about all this stuff, I'm always like, oh, it's all staged, like, none of this is real. But it was interesting to see some of their characters their characters at least come through or come to the forefront, especially between her and Ben, and witnessing their love whether that was staged or not, or whatever the case might be. And I know we want to believe it wasn't staged, but it's show business. It is staged. And we are all actors on stage in life. But yeah, that was really, really interesting. It was, I don't know, what was interesting about the album for me specifically? I think it was speaking about something I haven't heard a lot of artists speaking about in a really, really long time. When I think about music specifically from the 90s, or even before then, the 80s and the 60s, like, there was a whole lot of love. There was a whole lot of singing about love and loving someone and all those good vibes and good feels and good vibrations, which over the years I think has just been like, I don't know, been drowned out by the love of money. And people singing a lot about the love of money and the beef that they have with so and so and da 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 da. Like, it's created a really, it's created quite a vibe in the world, and it's been very interesting to see that no one is really speaking about or singing about love, and the love songs that they are singing about are now just really in the background and not really spoken about really that much, which is sad, because I think that now more than ever the world, what is that song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Yes, what the world needs now is love, sweet love, and not love in the sense of the romantic word. We were just like, I don't know, or lovey-dovey with each other, but I think the deeper, more spiritual definition of the word, I think that's what a lot of us need in the world right now. There's so much, I don't know, there's so much hate, there's so much aggression, there's so much violence, there's so much misinformation, there's a lot going on, and it's been kind of sad for me to watch. I mean, my word of the year this year is present, and being present, and that has really, I don't know, it's forced me to almost want to stop and really take stock and really observe. It might just also be the age I'm at, you know, where I just want to be like, is any of this making sense anymore? Should we even be going down this direction anymore? Should we be listening to this artist anymore? I'm having a little bit of I don't know if it's a midlife crisis. I really don't think it's a midlife crisis. I just think I'm reevaluating a lot of areas in my life and what I need going forward, which is something I think I've done before, but all of a sudden it's just taking on it's a whole nother level now, which is really interesting. But yeah, so back to Jennifer Lopez's album, the J.Lo album. I really, really loved it. There's one particular song on there which I really, really enjoyed. I think it's something about midnight in Vegas. Beautiful song, beautiful song. Let me just see if I can find the title. Oh gosh, y'all, you see, this is what happens when you're just not prepared. When you just come on and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do it, because I've been nagging myself for weeks on end about the name of the song is called Midnight Trip to Vegas. I loved it. It took me back. It took me to a different type of vibe, and it sounded very personal. There were a lot of songs on there which sounded very personal and really spoke about her previous relationship. The only thing I really don't like about J.Lo, and I'm not trying to be all negative or anything like that, it's just that sometimes it just feels inauthentic. The music, I suppose that's just who she is in show business. That's the character she is playing, and that's fine. If it works for you, it works for you. Like, let's not even judge you. Let's not even get in your way. That's who you be, and we're okay with that. So I really, really enjoyed that, which is very, I don't know, such a difference when it comes to other artists, such as Beyoncé, who released her new body of work this Friday. What was it called again? The Beehive's Gonna Have Me. Kaiwa Carter. Very interesting album. I was expecting something completely different. Was I pleasantly surprised? I'm still in my feelings and I'm still in my head about the album. I know that everyone is just hailing it as such a beautiful body of work, and it really is. It sounds good. It was produced well. The lyrics are well. Everything is good. There are just other things to me that I'm just like, okay, girl. I'm not really getting it. But but we'll talk about that on another podcast. I don't want to dedicate a whole podcast to Beyonce, but we'll see what happens there. So yeah, that's where we've been. That's where we are, and there's a lot happening in the world, and I'm talking about all this fluff stuff. But I suppose we need that, right? We need that when we look at the current state of the world. We need to be reminded about love, and at the same time we need to be championing these causes. Not all the causes, I think that's really ridiculous. We need to be championing causes that are true to our heart and true to our own belief systems and what we're about and what we want to put in the world. Because there's a lot of noise. There's a hell of a lot of noise right now. And I don't know. Sometimes I just wanted to just stop so we can just all think clearly. Because we're not doing any of that. We're all, scrolling endlessly and getting lost in other worlds, which is kind of dangerous. But I don't know. We'll figure it out by ourselves, I suppose, as we journey through this life. Each to their own, on their own journey. Let them handle it by themselves. But yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Wednesdays with Woody. I'm always appreciative of you guys tuning in and listening in and taking the time just to, listen to me ramble about a whole bunch of nothing sometimes. But it's a nothingness that I want to ramble about. So yeah, this year, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to promise you guys things this year because clearly last year things went awry and wild. This year I'm just gonna say I'm hoping to bring a lot more love and light to the podcast, a lot more feel good moments. Maybe we'll discuss some serious things, maybe we won't. I don't know what's gonna happen week on week. I'm just taking it one journey at a time, one step at a time at least. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for lending me your ears. And I am hoping you guys tune in next week when who knows what on earth we're going to be discussing or talking about. But yeah, thanks so much. Ciao.